What were the challenges of Roman education? Have you ever wondered what obstacles children faced in ancient Rome when it came to their education? Roman education was structured and valued, but it had its share of challenges that affected many. Let's take a closer look at these hurdles. First, education in ancient Rome was not compulsory. It largely depended on a family's wealth and social status. Sons of wealthy families could access multiple stages of education. They started with basic literacy and arithmetic, then moved on to literature and the Greek language, and finally advanced rhetoric. However, children from lower-class families often had little to no formal schooling. Many boys entered apprenticeships early, while girls, regardless of their family's wealth, were usually excluded from advanced education. This created a significant divide in educational opportunities based on social rank and gender. Next, let's talk about costs. Formal education came with tuition fees, which many families could not afford. Schools were often privately run, meaning the quality of education depended on how much a family could pay. Teachers like the literator for basic reading and writing, the grammaticus for literature and Greek, and the rhetor for public speaking and law charged fees that limited education mainly to the elite. The curriculum itself also posed challenges. In the early stages, it was quite narrow, focusing mostly on reading, writing, and basic arithmetic. Subjects beyond these basics were typically reserved for wealthier students. Lessons often relied on rote memorization and recitation, leaving little room for questioning or critical thinking. Books were rare and expensive, so teaching relied heavily on oral dictation, which could become monotonous. School days were long, starting at sunrise and ending at sunset, with only a short break. This schedule could be physically and mentally exhausting for children. Discipline was strict, and corporal punishment was common, which could discourage some students and limit effective learning. Gender restrictions were another challenge. Girls were generally excluded from formal education beyond basic reading and writing. Their education often took place at home, focusing on skills needed for marriage and managing a household. This disparity meant women had fewer opportunities for intellectual growth and participation in public life. Language barriers also played a role. At the grammaticus level, students were expected to learn both Latin and Greek. This requirement demanded significant linguistic skill, which could be a challenge for many, especially those from non-elite backgrounds. Lastly, the advanced stages of education were tailored to prepare young men for careers in politics, law, and public service. This focus meant that education served mainly the ruling elite and did not address the practical needs of the broader population. In summary, Roman education was shaped by social hierarchy, economic means, and gender roles. While it aimed to prepare young men for civic life and leadership, many children faced barriers that prevented them from fully benefiting from the system. These challenges reflected the values and structure of Roman society, where education was both a privilege and a tool for maintaining social order.